For a very long time, Final Fantasy was my MMO of choice. The epic stories, the heart-pounding raids, and the absolute drip of glamours. I was living my best warrior of light life. But then something changed. I wandered into a world called Tyria. Everything I thought I wanted in an MMO got flipped upside down. So here's the question. How does Guild Wars 2 stack up to Final Fantasy XIV? Can one of these games actually replace the other? Or are they the ultimate MMO power couple? Let's dive in. Final Fantasy is, without a doubt, a storytelling masterpiece. From the tragic arcs of the Xions to the emotional gut punches of expansions like Shadowbringers or even Endwalker, this game knows how to deliver a narrative that sticks with you. Every cutscene feels like a reward. Every character feels alive, and the world of Eorzea draws you in with its rich history and breathtaking cinematic moments. No MMO out there pulls off storytelling on this level. It's like playtelling through a series of epic novels, and I've cried more times than I'd like to admit. And then there's the community, easily one of the best parts of the game. Whether you're trading tips in Limsa Lominsa or tackling savage raids with a patient and supporter group, players make this experience unforgettable. I still think back to that one time my raid group spent hours helping me nail mechanics for a boss fight, or the spontaneous concerts hosted by bards in the middle of the city. It's not just a game, it feels like a second home filled with people who genuinely care, which is awesome. Of course, the structured endgame grind is another hallmark of Final Fantasy. It's rewarding, methodical, and perfect for players who love having clear goals. Whether it's chasing BIS gear in raids, mastering crafting and gathering, or grinding relic weapons, there's always a sense of accomplishment waiting at the end of the tunnel. While it can feel like a bit of a treadmill at times, there's no denying that the payoff is worth it, and that structured progression is part of what keeps players coming back for more. Now to talk about Guild Wars 2. It thrives on exploration, the way few other games do. The game's world feels alive, with dynamic events that pop up as you traverse its sprawling zones. One moment, you're scaling a mountain to uncover a cinematic vista, and the next, you've swept into a massive world boss fight alongside dozens of players. It's not just about following quests, the game actively encourages wandering, rewarding you with hidden treasures, fascinating lore, and, of course, the breathtaking views of Tyria. The freedom to chart your own course is what makes Tyria so immersive. Combat in Guild Wars 2 is a thrill ride that keeps you engaged. Unlike the structured tab-targeting combat of Final Fantasy, Guild Wars 2's dodging mechanics make every encounter feel like a high-stakes duel. You're not just pressing buttons, you're actively positioning, dodging massive AoE attacks, and adapting to fast-paced fights. Whether I'm battling in PvP or taking down a giant event boss, it's exhilarating to feel so connected to the action. In Guild Wars 2, I'm not a specter, I'm a participant. One of the most refreshing aspects of Guild Wars 2 is its level scaling system. No matter how your level, you can revisit any zone and still find challenges and rewards that matter. Older zones don't feel static or abandoned like in Final Fantasy. Instead, they stay relevant and vibrant, with dynamic events that pull players together. This accessibility means Tyria always feels alive, whether you're starting out or revisiting areas as a seasoned player. It's a game that doesn't leave any part of its world behind. Guild Wars 2 also shines in its approach to customization. The flexibility with builds, gear, and mounts let players express themselves in ways Final Fantasy's more structured systems don't allow. I've spent hours experimenting with builds, trying out new mount skins, and optimizing my gear, not because I have to, but because I want to. This level of agency makes me feel like my character is truly mine, adding to the game's replayability and making it easy to fall in love with the journey. When it comes to MMOs, Final Fantasy XIV and Guild Wars 2 couldn't feel more different, yet both excel in their unique approaches. Final Fantasy shines as a structured, narrative-driven experience where every quest, cutscene, and dungeon run is part of the meticulously crafted story. The game pulls you in with emotional depths, epic arcs, and a clear sense of progression. Meanwhile, Guild Wars 2 thrives on a freedom and a player-driven adventures. From dynamic world events to the thrill of stumbling upon hidden treasures, it's a game that rewards curiosity and exploration. It's not really about which game is better, it's about what kind of journey you want to take. What makes these games even better is how they complement each other. Final Fantasy scratches the itch for a focused, story-first experience, where the path is laid out clearly and the payoff is a cinematic masterpiece. On the other hand, Guild Wars 2 offers a break from that structure, embracing a more open-ended approach where you can forge your own path at your own pace. One isn't meant to replace the other. When I crave deep lore and grand storytelling, I'll log into Final Fantasy, but when I'm in the mood to roam freely and make my own adventures, it's Guild Wars 2. Even the core gameplay loops highlight their differences. In Final Fantasy, everything is designed around quests and progression, a steady climb toward the next story beat or piece of gear. Guild Wars 2 flips this on its head with dynamic events that turn every zone into a living, breathing world. One moment you're helping a farmer fend off a bandit raid, and the next, a massive world boss has appeared, rallying dozens of players to the fight. This spontaneous nature keeps Guild Wars 2 exciting, even in zones you've visited dozens of times. The tone of each game also sets them apart. Final Fantasy often leans into drama with serious, emotionally charged moments that feel like you're part of an epic saga. Guild Wars 2, however, isn't afraid to be quirky and lighthearted, with NPC banter, humorous side quests, and moments that catch you off guard in the best way possible. Well, side story here, me and my best friend Kova were recently doing fractals in Guild Wars 2, and the villain we were fighting was named Old Tom, and funny enough, he was the most powerful villain me and him have fought yet. They don't care. It's funny. It was fun. Anywho, while both games have their intense moments, Guild Wars 2 just feels like it's more relaxed. Like it's the relaxed, playful sibling. In the end, these differences make them perfect for players who want variety in their MMO lineup. Final Fantasy delivers a polished, story-focused experience for when you want something grand and immersive. Guild Wars 2 offers a sandbox of adventures for those days when you want to explore, experiment, and enjoy the journey at your own pace. Together, they create a balance that keeps me coming back for more. So what's keeping me hooked? There's gotta be a reason I'm doing all this. Well, right now, it's the variety and depth of Guild Wars 2's content. I've been diving deep into fractals, as I mentioned earlier, where each level kind of feels like its own unique challenge. It's a great mix of strategy and skill, where every encounter pushes me to learn how mechanics work and be able to refine my abilities. But what really grabbed me recently are the strike missions. These are like mini raids that require a solid coordination and teamwork, and they're just so satisfying to complete. The thrill of taking down a massive boss with a group of players, pulling off mechanics in perfect sync, it's just unbeatable. Then there are the mounts. Guild Wars 2's mount system is incredible. Way, like, the best mount system in any MMO I've played, and I've played a lot of them. Each mount is unique and offers different ways to navigate the world, whether I'm using the Springer to leap along across large gaps, the Skimmer to glide over water, and the Jackal to phase through portals. It's such a cool way to mix up exploration. What I love the most is that the mounts aren't just for movement. They tie into the gameplay itself, unlocking new ways to interact with the environment and complete objectives. I'm constantly finding ways to use them as I explore Tyria. And let's be honest, I feel like I'm just scratching the surface. With so much content to explore, like the Living World episodes and expansions, I just finished Living World Season 2, so I'm on to Heart of Thorns now. I'm so excited to dig into the upcoming updates and see what else this world has to offer. The more I dive into Guild Wars 2, the more I realize how much depth it holds, and I can't wait to see what else I can discover as I continue my journey. So here are my final thoughts. Final Fantasy and Guild Wars 2 each excel in their own unique ways, offering something special to every type of MMO player. Final Fantasy shines with its deep cinematic storytelling and structured content that draws players into its rich narrative world. On the other hand, Guild Wars 2 brings freedom and exploration to the forefront with its dynamic world and fast-paced combat. It's all about what you're looking for in your gaming experience. Both games are worth playing, and they each offer experiences that can complement one another in your rotation. If you've been looking to shake things up or add something new to your MMO lineup, give Guild Wars 2 a try. You might just fall in love with it the same way I did. It's a game that can stand on its own, but also work beautifully alongside the structure of Final Fantasy. So what do you think? Are you juggling multiple MMOs right now, or do you have a go-to game you keep coming back to? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow my adventures in both Eorzea and Tyria. There's so much more to explore, and I'd love for you to join me along the way. Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, feel free to watch another one. Maybe click the one that's on the screen right now. It actually helps a lot so that the algorithm knows that my videos are worth caring about. So if you want to support the channel, it'd be a great way to do it.